Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John and I have another anniversary today. It is the 30th anniversary of Temple of the Dog. So before I begin, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. Temple of the Dog, they are an American supergroup. They're from Seattle, Washington. The band was formed by Chris Cornell of Soundgarden, and it was a tribute to his friend Andrew Wood, who had recently passed away. Andrew Wood was also the lead singer of Mother Love Bone. The lineup of the band included Stone Gossard, Jeff Ament, Mike McCready, and Matt Cameron. They were all members of Mother Love Bone and later Pearl Jam, with the exception of Matt Cameron, who was in Soundgarden and then later Pearl Jam. Eddie Vedder was also on the album as a guest star and was actually unknown at the time of release. So as I just mentioned, the band was started as a tribute to Andrew Wood, who was a roommate of Chris Cornell, and he died of a heroin overdose. So the first two songs that were written as a tribute to him, and they were called Reach Down and Say Hello to Heaven. The music was very different at the time. The last album that had been released by Soundgarden was Louder Than Love, and that was a really heavy, almost like heavy metal album. So the sound to this was a big departure of what people were used to with Chris Cornell. The sound actually sounds a lot like the material from his solo albums, but back then it was very different. At the time of release, Pearl Jam's 10 had not even come out yet, and neither had Soundgarden's Bad Motorfinger. So this was a completely different sound. I remember buying this album and listening to it after seeing the music video for Hunger Strike. That one had Eddie Vedder and Chris Cornell. I remember instantly recognizing both singers. So I'm pretty sure I bought the album in the summer of 1992. That's when the album was re-released after Pearl Jam and Soundgarden were becoming very popular. And there was also a music video on MTV that was receiving a lot of airplay. This was one of my favorite albums back then, and for some reason I remember Eddie Vedder appearing on more songs, but it's probably just misremembering because he only sings on one song, Hunger Strike, and he does some backup vocals on a few of the others. But the rest of the album is pretty much all of Chris Cornell doing the vocal work, on the rest of the songs. I'm going to talk about a few of the songs. All of the songs were written by Chris Cornell. Some of the songs were written by other members, and I will mention that as I go along, but the majority was written by Chris Cornell. The album starts out with Say Hello to Heaven. This is a very laid-back song, and like I said in the beginning, this was one of the songs that was a tribute to Andrew Wood. I think about 2 years ago there was a tribute concert for Chris Cornell with many artists performing. Miley Cyrus did a very amazing performance of this. I recommend looking for it on YouTube. The song is very emotional, the vocals are very heartfelt, and the lyrics are just really great. You got to listen to them. The sound, it just captures the Seattle sound. There's some like slightly distorted guitars, and this is just an awesome song. The next song is called Reach Down, and this is actually a very long song. I never realized it was over 11 minutes. It starts off with a bluesy, dirty guitar riff, and it's fairly slow. The song captures the Seattle grunge sound with that distinct guitar tone. As for the lyrics, Chris Cornell wrote about dreaming about being in a bar, being with his friend, drinking with the glasses in their hand, talking about how he's going to buy him a drink. These lyrics are very emotional and heartfelt. Like I said, it's a long song, so at some point in the middle of the song, it just basically turns into a jam. There's a lot of like lead guitar soloing. The guitars have that same lightly distorted tone with a wah-wah effect. And it's just the kind of song you just sit back and relax and you just take it all in. Chris Cornell does come back into the song at about the 8.5 minute mark. It's an a cappella part, but the band does come back in shortly. The song also has some really great lead guitar work by Mike McCready. The next song is Hunger Strike, and this is the song that introduced me to the band. I remember watching it on MTV, and I remember seeing it. It was a duet between Chris Cornell and Eddie Vedder, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever because I was really into the grunge scene at that time. The song basically starts off as a slow acoustic ballad, the two lead singers trading off verses. There's a part in the song that it does have this really like heavy riff that is very reminiscent of a Soundgarden song. So of course, as I was planning this video, I had to like go back and rewatch the video on YouTube. For some reason I remember them singing in a forest or something, but no, it's actually they were singing on a beach. When Eddie Vedder comes in, he starts singing, and they're all like in the middle of this like tall grass. So I remembered it a little differently, but this video is on YouTube. I definitely recommend going back and watching it just to bring back the memories. The next song is called Pushing Forward Back, and this one was actually written by Jeff Ament and Stone Gossard. It has Eddie Vedder, but only on some backing vocals. And this is basically more reminiscent of a Pearl Jam song. It has the loud guitars, the faster tempo. You can hear Eddie Vedder on the backing vocals, on the chorus. It's really hard to distinguish his voice. You really need to listen closely. The last song I'm going to talk about is Call Me a Dog. This was written by Chris Cornell. It's a very slow, bluesy song. And it is the type of song that you would hear later on his solo albums. The song is very emotional. He gives an amazing vocal performance. He definitely shows off his vocal range. This song was actually played live in the mid-2000s by Chris's old band Audioslave, and this has a really great guitar solo by Mike McCready. So you should go back and check the song out. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm just gonna mention the rest of the songs. So the next song is called Times of Trouble. That was written by Stone Gossard. After that is Wooden Jesus. That's a Chris Cornell song. There's another Chris Cornell song called Your Savior. This one does have Eddie Vedder on backing vocals. And then the next song is written by Stone Gossard called Four Walled World. And the last song is called All Night Thing. And this is a fairly long album. It's 54 or about 55 minutes. So back then, like they were releasing things on CDs, so this would be fit perfectly on one CD side. So in conclusion, I definitely recommend you revisit this. It's very underrated. One of the forgotten great albums of the grunge era. You know, people always go back and listen to albums like Pearl Jam's 10 or Soundgarden's Bad Motorfinger or their other albums. But this is a classic. It's something you definitely got to go back and listen to. And it's one of a kind. I'm kind of glad they really didn't follow it up. I think it's the kind of album that just needs to stand on its own and be remembered for what it was. So definitely go back and listen to it. It is an awesome album. And that is it. Please comment below. Let me know what you think of the album. And have you heard it recently? So coming up next, I'm going to have some more album reviews. I'll do the new Greta Van Fleet album next. After that, I'll do The Offspring. And then after that, I'll probably do Cannibal Corpse. Those are kind of like three completely different bands, but you know, that's what my channel is all about. So thanks. Please check the in-video links, and I will see you in the next one.